Hey everybody, welcome, welcome. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Welcome everybody. Whew, I'm like still cold, y'all. I'm still kind of going through my sinus thing. I got my tissue, I got some coffee, and I got some water. Everybody, ooh, uh, hold up, guys. I hear another screen open and it's bothering my ear. Here it is. Thank you. Like multiple screens open and they're all kind of bursting in my ear. Welcome everybody. Thank you guys for hitting that like button. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm wondering if I should watch this. Shout out to you, Aduko. You're so funny. Welcome everybody. Um, Lord have mercy. Where do we start? That's really the question is where do we start? All right. So we did a live today, in the morning, right? And we talked about the theories, right? The burglary theory. Sounds like PIMA's not really supporting that theory. Sounds like other journalists are debunking that theory. So there's that. TMZ got another letter. Sheriff Harvey, went public and he was, begging for the person that's doing letters to please come forward, in his Harvey Levin TMZ type of way. What else? What else? What else? There was that. And then after we were done with our live, it turns out there was an article by NBC News that the family had been cleared. Now, initially, it was just one article. Well, now it went from an article to an actual official statement. Okay. So the family has been officially cleared by PIMA. Now, I posted it. I did post that statement over here on my, what is it, community wall. And some of you guys were like, yeah, but the FBI hasn't said anything. Yeah, but this is, what do we do about the FBI? What is going on? Well, this isn't, in my opinion, this is what it looks like to me. This isn't the FBI's case. Yes, the FBI came through to help. Okay. They came through to help, um, assist in whatever way that they can, which is what they were used for. But this wasn't the FBI's case per se. I never really got the impression that they just took it over. Okay. So, what do you all think about this? Where do you guys stand with that? Because, like I said, they were there to help. They were. And even the sheriff said that he was, really happy to have them, that they've been in communication with them and whatnot. But that wasn't their case. It's not the FBI's case. At least it wasn't formally said, even though they stepped. That's right. FBI is not the lead. Pima was in charge. And I don't know what their protocol is in terms of like what makes one the lead over the other. Do they say, all right, like, is there a court situation that needs to happen as far as that goes? But we don't know. Yeah, I think that they are, Jeanette. And so like given that there is not I wouldn't necessarily say that there's not a lot of crime. It's just that there's not a lot of televised things that are happening in that area. But there has been crime in that area before. Hell, Friday the 13th, it seemed like three different things were happening all at the same time. And, we were kind of left confused between the raids, the car, and some other hit and run, and a bunch of other things. Okay. So for those that are coming in late, and then we're going to go over this situation right here with they're going to gun stores and collecting names. We're going to go to that, but let's go right here first. Okay. So this is what broke today. This is a statement direct from the sheriff. Okay. On the Nancy Guthrie investigation. He says, to be clear, the Guthrie family, to include all siblings and spouses, has been cleared as possible suspects in this case. The family has been nothing but cooperative and gracious and are victims in this case. To suggest otherwise is not only wrong, but it is cruel. The Guthrie family are victims, plain and simple. Please, I'm begging you, the media, to honor your profession and report with some sense of compassion and professionalism. So, thoughts, opinions? I'm going to let y'all marinate on that statement. Where do you guys stand with that? That I do appreciate the communication because maybe they just figured out today that they are not suspects, because although I agree they should have said it before, maybe they weren't ready. 24 hours ago, they hadn't been cleared. Now they're cleared. Where do you guys stand with that? This is formal. This is formal. I guess that's the question. Said, I don't know. I still think it was a burglary gone wrong and left her in the desert deceased. This is still a very plausible theory, right? You said the sheriff seemed like he made that statement out of emotional duress, and the whole "I beg the media" is not a professional or unusual, is not professional or unusual language. Are you talking about when you say he's begging the media to have like some compassion? Is that like soul power? Do you feel like that's like not professional for him to say that? Or explain that a little bit more, just so I don't misread your comment. I said, I think that the sheriffs stand down and let the FBI take over, especially with the buzz from Harvey that she could be in Mexico. That going over international waters, which would pass the FBI, no? Okay. Here's the question that I have for y'all. And I want you to think about this question that I'm about to ask you. If she was taken south of the border, okay, why take an 84-year-old woman there across the border? Risk detection, risk all kinds of things. Why? What would be the benefit? She's not, it would be different if it was a child, right? Like, please note that. But why would they take her? What would be the benefit of that? That's the question that I have. Um, You said, I think the Sheriff Barney is pandering to his voter base, but time will tell when finally find out that they can't tell us. And I think you said, I think the Sheriff Harder is just grasping. So he got a answer to Epstein. He has to answer to Epstein. Here's the other thing to me, Blondie. It was never implied. Again, I'll say this again. I don't believe that this was the FBI's case from the start. We wanted the FBI to take it over, right? Because we felt like there's some incompetence here. I still feel like there's a lot of incompetence that has happened. And yes, the sheriff has to lick his wounds and, do what he has to do to fix his image because the people are not happy. And if he's reelected again, I mean, I'd have to side eye people that would reelect him. I'm sorry. I don't think that he showed competence, initially in the way in which he handled it. I think he had a little bit of a tunnel vision too, how he approached Nancy Guthrie in that investigation. Just thinking that she was some elderly woman that walked away from her property. It took him a good 24 hours to find out, at least from that press conference, that was not the case. I felt like that was incompetence in his part, and maybe even, he kind of he dropped several balls, and he admitted to that. So I would be concerned about if he's reelected. I don't think that would be the case. I think people have learned, but you never know. Pima sounds like they're kind of set in their ways, so who knows? That being said, though, I want to remind everybody this wasn't the FBI's case. It was never presented that way. Yes, the FBI, officers, county, people, deputy sheriff, people can call the FBI for help. And there's like a referral process for them. And they'll offer their services and bring whatever resources they have in place. You have to ask for them to come over. Okay. And so he did ask. It took him a while to get there, but he did ask for them. Kind of keep that in mind. And just because you ask doesn't mean that they're taking over the case. There's jurisdictional things that also have to take into account. I just hate that the son-in-law got dragged through the mud without evidence. That's harmful. Well, okay. Let's talk about that a little bit. The son-in-law got dragged through the mud without evidence. What do you guys think about that? The communication is clear, but he has been indicating otherwise for days. He has been half the problems. Yeah, there's a lot of, let me say this. I feel like there's a lot more people that dropped the ball. It wasn't just the sheriff. There was a lot of other players, I think, that might have played a part in this, if you know what I mean. Okay. I don't think it was just the sheriff, guys. Like, honestly, I think it was probably more people that could have been consulted and whatnot. I agree, Rabbit, something's not right with the sheriff's dialogues. Okay. You said, I really think that it was a burglary and they had no idea who she was and everything went wrong and they know they're cooked. They just kind of took her. Could very well be. They can lie to trick people. It's you know what? That is true, Rachel. They can lie. We know that. They can take back and say, "We didn't mean to say it this way, we meant to say it the other way." They don't have to tell us anything. They don't. They don't have to clear anything for us either. This just happens to be a high profile case and they notice the level of internet, you know, height and heightened attention that it has. You said, I'm so sad to say it's looking like she's no longer with us. Any captor wanting money would have already legit gotten it. I think that the first ransom note was something that people should have paid attention to. It should have been taken serious, and it was delivered was it the day after, like, less than 24 hours after she had been taken. The statement feels very emotional, it feels forced, is what I'm saying. Okay, gotcha, and not professional. The other thing is nobody's taking him serious because of so much conflicting information, yeah. You can't deny the conflicting information from the sheriff, and what is that all about, right? But at the same time, if we're saying that police can lie to us, police can give conflicting information. They don't have to tell us ish at all, which then think about for those that live in Tucson, because this is who you guys, do your thing, right? You always want to see how a person handles crisis, what they do in the moment of crisis, especially somebody like a sheriff, right? How do they handle criticism? How do they handle crisis? To reconsider reelection and whatnot. Something to kind of keep in mind. You said he is owed an apology by everyone. What? From Savannah. Oh, you talk about the brother. Vicky, I was like, are you talking about the sheriff? Vicky, he is owed an apology by everyone. The son-in-law from Savannah, his brother-in-law, the PD, and everyone on social media. Yes, I agree. I agree. I also felt like, well, maybe there's something here. And I also speculated on the son-in-law. And I was wrong for that too, right? We got our information from reputable sources, or at least that's what we think, right? You have somebody that's been working, for many years as an anchor, as a whatever it may be. Um, Not everybody gets it right. But I think that we have to be mindful of that. So I'm using the source, and many of us here on YouTube were probably using Ashleigh Banfield's source. And that her video got well over 1 million. So yes, I think that that's a very fair statement. I am sorry for anything that I might have led to the uh, um, son-in-law, Tommaso Sioni. I don't think it's fair. I think a lot of us should have waited, but a lot of us got the information from what we felt like was a reputable source. And even then what should we have done after that? There's got to be a different protocol. Literally, this man has been trending on Google. His face is all over, right? So that's wrong. You know, that's wrong. And we went by a lot of narratives that we were providing, and we were wrong. But that just tells you guys that, and it should be an example to everyone. Please note that, right? I am sorry, completely sorry. And I have no problems eating crow or saying, I got this, I effed up. Okay. I have no problems doing that. But here's the deal that I'm going to say. Just like I can say, I'm sorry that I got this wrong because I got it from what I thought was a reliable source. That should tell you, since this case began, okay, from the very beginning, there has been so much BS going on and so much mudslinging in terms of who is putting shit out there and who isn't. And I've been saying it over and over. If you take a walk on Twitter, okay, and you see you got a congresswoman You have news people, you have all kinds of different people that are like these bloggers, and I'm sitting there and I'm like, but wait a minute. We're literally repeating the information from somebody who just left News Nation and then another person who is major media outlet TMZ. So think about it. Like I could say I'm sorry, and I don't have a fucking corporation. No, you don't know. I don't. I respond to you guys, my subscribers and my supporters. Who do they talk to? Who do they respond? Who gets fired over there? Who gets replaced? I'm telling you, it's not them. Their faces are there every day. So it's so crazy to me that it's like, wait a minute. You guys are throwing mud at us, but you do realize how the information actually trickled down to a lot of us, right? Doesn't matter the degrees that you have or the schooling or the years that you go to clearly, and then for whatever reason people say online specifically these people are not trained journalists, they're not trained journalists to do X, Y, and Z. Okay, well, you got a woman who put out there that he's a prime suspect. Tell me how many years she's been on television and how many journalism school years she has had. Let me know. I got people every day that message me every day on the email and they send me pictures. And sometimes I'm like, why are y'all? And I don't respond. I get a lot of emails. I know, I'm selective about what I respond to and stuff like that. Right. Please note that. Okay. But I also went to school. Like I'm no dummy. None of us are. You know what I mean? So it's like, um, we might have not gone to journalism school, but we don't need to be treated like shit just because we run a social media platform and we have followers. And a lot of us, we build our following. And there are various virtues and things that people like about social media content creators that some of these news networks don't put out. I'm not here to sell you a political campaign. Vote for this guy or vote for that guy. No. No. I'm not in a fucking Epstein file. Please note that. Go search my name. No Epstein files on this girl. But these people in corporations, you let me know. Okay? So I can eat crow every day. Put some hot sauce on it. I'm good. But them, they can't. They can't eat it. They can't own it. That's how I see. Um yeah. So I hope that if he's able, first of all, let's just say to put out there, I'm really good friends with I work with Court TV with Savannah Guthrie and I've met Savannah and Savannah and I we ate at the cafeteria table and we ate lunch together and girl, you putting all her business out there, not just her but everybody, all these colleagues. Mm. You said, sorry guys, I gotta. Baby Bunny's an artist, okay? Okay, hold on, hold on. Here, here. Thank you. Let's be nice, okay? Thank you. My goodness. Grouchy girl. You guys are watercolors. You said, type in yes, rabbit YouTube, searching the Epstein files. You ain't go by. Now listen, if you find a rabbit, I don't know about that, but not this one. Not this one. Yeah, so and so is my friend. We worked, and I'm like, oh, Savannah, if you don't ever come back to work for today or any of these people, or I do not blame that woman for not. Never. Because I'm telling you, man, I don't think that I would be able to do that. And this is who you consider a friend. A friend wouldn't have done all that shit. No. No, it's been 16 days of this stuff. It's been ongoing, guys. Honestly, it's been a lot. Shout out to everybody. Dee Dee just gifted 10 memberships. Dee Dee, thank you so much. I appreciate you. Make sure you guys are putting some hearts in the chat if you were gifted. Thank you. Grits and Grace patiently awaiting the flannel files. Review drop over. Girl, look, we gonna review it tomorrow. Okay. Let this lady drop it tonight. We gonna review it tomorrow. All right. Put a one in the chat if you're gonna be live with us tomorrow so we can review it. Because I'm definitely gonna grab I'm gonna grab my lawn chair or a folding chair. We're gonna sit there and we're gonna review it. And we're going to critique it. That's what we're gonna do, because that's what we do. And thank you so much for the $4.99. Daisy Girl says, do you think anyone can truly be cleared until the case is solved? I hear this from other cases all the time. I could see a situation where this might be the thing, right? Where by word, they're cleared. Preliminary investigation or whatever phase they may be in this investigation, right? They might be cleared. And so because of the heightened, social media and coverage of this case, I think it's important if you're able to clear somebody, at least where you're at right now, it doesn't necessarily mean that they're off the hook. Like they know that this is still an open investigation. Nobody's truly, even during trial, right? Even when they're still investigating, nobody's ever actually off until everything's completely done. They can bring people, to the case in any which way or form. So even though yes, they're technically clear, if they find something, they can bring it back up. I mean, it can go either way. So I think that the reason they've made this step is because of just the interest and everything that's been put out. I know so much more about Tomasi Sioni that I never even wanted to know. I didn't even like outside of knowing Savannah Guthrie before all this went down from the Today Show and some of the interviews that she's done in true crime cases. Did we actually really know this woman? I mean, to me, may she rest in peace. Barbara Walters was the one that and she's gone. And then there were some other ones and John Quiones and all these people, right? That are kind of up there. I know them. Right? More by face than I ever did Savannah Guthrie. Now it's like, who doesn't know Savannah Guthrie? Who doesn't know Savannah Guthrie's sister? Who doesn't know Savannah Guthrie's sister's husband? Too much. Too much stuff that I know about that lady. I probably don't even want to at this point, and I'll probably forget in a couple months. But I mean, that's kind of where we're at. But yeah, is anybody really ever cleared until the investigation is really completely over? But I think that they did it out of courtesy because it's become too much. Marie, thank you so much for this super sticker. I appreciate you, Marie. Thank you. Mercy Miami gifted 5 memberships. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Put the hearts in the chat if you guys have been gifted. Hearts, hearts, hearts. Thank you. Clara, Ara, Clara. Thank you for becoming a member. Shout out to you. Momo, member for 5 months. Shout out to you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right. So let's go ahead and move on, y'all, because we've spent a good portion of time in this discussing and talking about all of this. You said, Rabbit, can you wear flannel? Yeah, I'm gonna wear a flannel shirt tomorrow. Oh shit, I gotta go find it. Do I have a flannel? I think I do. I'm gonna wear some flannels tomorrow. Yes, I am. Mm-hmm. It's not back yet. I don't even think it's been submitted. That's the other thing, too. I don't even think it's been submitted whatsoever. You said, I think what the sheriff meant to say is that you're saying no one is fully cleared until the perp is taken off the street. But as it stands right now, the family is cleared and for the public. That's right, Mama Bear. Exactly. You just took those words out of my mouth. You sure did. Shout out to you. Okay. So, so tomorrow I'm going to wear some flannels. And I suggest you guys wear a flannel shirt too. And y'all join me tomorrow for the live. Now, let's get into this reporting. Okay, now this is NBC News. NBC News is, again, Savannah's network that she works for. So I have a feeling that maybe she was getting, maybe they were getting information because Savannah, is there, right? Maybe that's what it is.
2 weeks into the search for Nancy Guthrie, the Pima County Sheriff, for the first time, point blank ruling out any of the Guthrie family members, including siblings and spouses, as possible suspects, saying to suggest otherwise is not only wrong, it is cruel. The Guthrie family are victims, plain and simple. As the search drags on, investigators zeroing in on a single piece of evidence found 2 miles from Nancy's home. A discarded glove, the FBI says, contains unknown male DNA. A person familiar with the matter says unlike the other 15 gloves found in the search area, this one is consistent with the one seen on the suspect in the surveillance video. But how relevant it will be is unclear. No female DNA was found.
I think we need to use a lot of caution about jumping.
No female DNA was found. Okay? No female DNA was found, y'all. What do you guys think? You said, let me see what you get. Flannel gate. Yeah, we all wearing flannels. Vic's like, I'm gonna pull my flannel from the closet. In Arizona, I don't know if lie detectors are admissible. to be honest. And even that, like, I guess it depends. New Mexico lie detectors can be admissible, but I don't know about Arizona. Just so people are aware of that. And we were talking about New Mexico because that's where Busfield is dealing with that. They're able to use lie detectors. It really depends on the jurisdiction, the state.
To conclusions with the glove. If there were other aspects of that glove that tied it to either Nancy or someone who's already been looked at as a person of interest, then it would raise very quickly in priority. But at this point, it's more like a Hail Mary.
Still, the FBI says they're putting the DNA from the glove into their national database. Another question, the suspect's clothes, like the mask and zip-up jacket. The sheriff says it's possible that, like the suspect's backpack, the clothes were also purchased at a Walmart. He says they're currently working with Walmart management to determine who, if anyone, bought all or some of those items.
Well, what if they got it from a thrift store? That's the other thing, too.
The sheriff is also hoping even more video could be retrieved from the other Nest cameras on Nancy's property. You're working with the tech company still?
And yeah, we've asked them, and they're working as best they can.
Google, which owns Nest, has not responded to NBC News' request for comment about if they're working to recover more. Tonight, President Trump weighing in on the case again, saying hopefully there will be a positive result. And in an interview with the New York Post, when asked if the DOJ would request the death penalty if Nancy is not returned alive, saying, yeah, that's true. This, as Savannah says her family is not giving up hope, pleading with her mother's captor.
It is never too late to do the right thing.
Liz Kreutz joins us now live once again from outside Nancy's home. Liz, you
now, again, one of the pieces of new information, just so people are aware, FBI agents have been to several gun stores in Tucson with a list of 40 people and their photos, looking to see if any of them were in the store or purchased a gun. They went to, how many gun stores do we have in Tucson? And why are we just thinking that they would buy them in Tucson? I mean, you could buy a gun anywhere and everywhere, right? So now we're going through gun stores in Tucson. I don't know. Just a thought. Questions?
mentioned the DNA on those gloves. Are there any updates on the DNA sample that was taken from inside the property?
Well, Tom, the sheriff tells me that's what his investigators are actively working on right now today. The big question continues to be whose DNA is that, and is it a match for the glove or any potential suspect? Tom.
All right, Liz, we thank you for that. We thank you for watching. And remember, stay updated on breaking news and top stories.
Well, shout out to them. They're not yelling at the mic like Chris Cuomo. Now, here we go with the 40 with FBI visits stores with 40 not 40 gun stores. Did I say 40 gun stores? I probably did. FBI visits gun stores with 40 person IDs. Okay, and a list in Nancy Guthrie's investigation. Okay, I totally misread that.
Where the search for 84-year-old Nancy Guthrie is now in its third week. New this afternoon, the Pima County Sheriff has officially cleared the entire Guthrie family as possible suspects. That includes all siblings and their spouses. Sheriff Chris Nano said in a statement that, quote, the family has been nothing but cooperative and gracious and are victims in this case. To suggest otherwise is not only wrong, it is cruel. With the family cleared, investigators remain focused on the evidence. The suspense at this hour centers around forensics. Specifically, police are awaiting DNA results from a glove found 2 miles from Guthrie's home. That might not seem significant. Authorities have found at least 16 gloves in their search, many of them belonging to other searchers, but the FBI says this one is different. It appears to visually match the glove of the masked suspect in that surveillance video from Guthrie's front door camera. Now, testing is underway to find the person who wore it. And police aren't just focusing on the gloves from that video. The Pima County Sheriff says his team is consulting with Walmart because the suspect's clothing appears to come from the retail giant. In fact, Walmart exclusively sells that 25-liter Ozark Hiker backpack that the suspect was wearing in that video.
They don't sell it anywhere else. You can't just buy it on Amazon? Okay.
Meanwhile, another day, another note to TMZ. They have received a fourth message from a man who says he can end all of this right now and reveal the kidnapper's identity. This time, he's even hinting, again, all without proof, that Nancy Guthrie is south of the border. He is reiterating his demand for $50,000 in Bitcoin up front for that information. In just a moment, I'll speak live with TMZ's co-executive producer about this brand new message.
Okay, hold up. Now, this is a good question, Divine. And I hear you on this one. I don't know anyone who would have a loaded gun in a holster facing in their private. I saw that too. I was like, I saw that. They had the gun right here, like in their private area, especially if there's a chance that someone might be inside the house and can reach for it. Well, that right, you wouldn't put it there, which then led you to believe that this person is inexperienced. Not only that, you could shoot yourself down there. Like, who would have done that? So, yeah, I don't know about this one. I don't know about this one. Shout out to you, Night Charm. You said, I don't honestly believe that they have cleared the Guthrie family. I believe that they are wanting Tomoso and Annie to feel as if they're no longer suspects. Thus, they will lead them to Nancy. Well, okay. I mean, anything is possible, I guess. But for now, publicly, they have been cleared. So maybe they didn't, they cleared them publicly, but like I said, anything goes when the investigation is still open. You never know. You said Ozark Trail, the brand of backpack is a Walmart store run. Yes. Is it possible? They could have gotten it from a Walmart, right? Even the clothes, but could they have gotten it from a Goodwill or a secondhand store? There we go. Do we know if she was robbed? Well, there were no missing items that we were told. We were not told that there were missing items. However, a lot of us, at least myself, I have also concluded that it's very possible that it was a burglary gone wrong, that the intent was to burglarize the home, and then she might have walked in and all of this went down, but we don't know, honestly. You said, yeah, he could have bought it at a marketplace, Poshmark, eBay, all these areas are good, or it could have been donated. Who knows? Who knows? Still blows my mind the guy who had a gun pointed at his nuts got away with the abduction for 2 weeks. I saw that too. The question is, was it loaded? And it was a firearm? There's no way it could have been like a stun gun or anything like that? Just a question. I don't know. They have those too? Not they have like Ozark, but no Ozark brand? Gotcha. Anything is possible. Like I said, donation, Goodwills, anything. Yeah. I didn't understand the whole nut thing. I didn't understand that at all. But anyways, let me show you another thing too. Somebody who this is hilarious to me, okay? Because we might have to drag Piers Morgan here pretty soon. Unequivocal shame on all of those who've used the Guthrie family as despicable click clout with zero evidence to support their invented claims. Ay, Dios mío. I don't know how I feel about Piers talking about click, what did he say? Click clout? Click clout. Says the man that has had very questionable guests up there, for click clout, not really knowing the story and the backstory of people and then just putting them out there. I cannot. We've really hit a dead end once Piers Morgan feels like he could tell the media what, or social media what they can and can't report, and he can shame people. I know, right? Rich, coming from him, please tell him. Please tell him. I said, Lord have mercy, not you, not you. By the way, so I guess somebody said that on Twitter and he got really mad. I don't know. I haven't searched myself, but apparently somebody did a search. Allegedly, somebody did a search. I don't know. On the Epstein files and his name came up or something like that. And he got really mad and he told the person, I'm going to sue you or some shit like that. Crazy work. Anyways, half of these reporters are on these Epstein, DOJ files at this point.
As the search surpasses 2 weeks, Today Show host Savannah Guthrie put out another public plea, this time speaking directly to the person who has her mother.
And I wanted to say to whoever has her or knows where she is that it's never too late. And You're not lost or alone. And it is never too late to do the right thing.
All right, let's get our coverage started with News Nation's Brian Enton live for us on the ground in Tucson
Ooh.
outside Nancy
Ooh,
Guthrie's
Brian
home.
is
Brian,
sick.
what are you seeing at this hour?
Elizabeth, I have some brand new reporting that I just confirmed in the last couple of minutes, and that is that FBI agents have been to several gun stores right here in the Tucson area. And when they show up to the gun stores, I have learned that they have 40 names and 40 photographs that they are showing employees of the gun stores and asking them if any of those people have been inside the store or if any of those people have purchased weapons. So that's brand new. Again, we just confirmed that. In terms of the DNA testing, there's a lot evolving there too. News Nation's Libby Dean has confirmed that the DNA that was pulled off of a glove about 2 miles from where I'm standing outside Nancy Guthrie's house, the DNA has yet to be put into the CODIS FBI database, but that it is going to be happening soon, which is significant because once they get it into the database, at that point, they will be able to cross-reference it against other criminals who are in that database and perhaps maybe make a match. And lastly, Elizabeth, remember Friday?
Real quick, guys. So it's not been entered. DNA has not been put into CODIS as of now. That was 2 hours ago. The DNA, and this is Libby Dean, who says on Twitter, the DNA from the glove in Nancy Guthrie's case is still undergoing quality control in the sheriff's private lab in Florida. After being sent from Tucson on February 12th, it is expected to be inputted into FBI CODIS in the near future. The FBI official tells me again. So that was 2 hours ago. I heard it's like a 24-hour period. I don't know what the wait is, but maybe there's a process. Who knows?
Night there was that big FBI raid that we were at. There were no arrests made, but I am told not to think that that is totally off the table yet in terms of possibly being connected. There was a federal search warrant that was conducted, which means a federal judge had to sign off on it, which means that there was some meat on the bones there, I'm told, in terms of how that home and those people could have possibly been connected to the Nancy Guthrie investigation, and that they are still going over the evidence right now, electronics, and that there was even DNA taken. So I'm told to be patient on that front, that there could still be more coming soon, Elizabeth.
Brian, who are these 40 people, these pictures that the FBI is taking to local gun stores? Do we know?
You know what worries me about that? I'm going to tell you the fact that we even know that is you already know you already got people out here looking for 40 people with some kind of a record to figure out if they could potentially have a connection to this situation. Go ahead. Literally. You already know we got 40 people. We got people already. We probably already have their names. Mm-hmm.
We don't know the names, but again, we just confirmed this. So they have 40 names and 40 pictures. Does that mean that there are 40 persons of interest, 40 people that they're interested in? Are they putting some pictures and names in there just to sort of, that aren't even involved, just to kind of like, you know, throw people off a little bit? We don't know, but I do know that we've confirmed several gun shops. They say the FBI agents have shown up with 40 names and 40 photos. This is just within the last couple of days, and have asked them whether they have been inside the shop or whether they have purchased a gun.
All right. If you manage to learn from your sources how they landed on those 40 people, come give us.
Hold up. Sorry. If they have a felony, they wouldn't. Are we assuming? I'm wondering if they have like an idea of the specific, like Ronan said here, they know the pew pew. So they're searching the stores in that area to figure out if they can ID the pew pew, right? And anybody that has purchased a gun in that description, right? So they're looking for that specifically. Could be something, could be nothing. I would agree with that. So whoever did that we need to make sure they wouldn't be, if they had like a felony or whatever, it'd be kind of difficult to buy a weapon, assuming that they got it from a store and not from somebody else, right? Keep that in mind. You said, Let's see. My medical device connects to specific frequency. I don't understand why they haven't tried that. They did neuropsych. They had a helicopter. Was it 2 days ago, guys? It was called a sniffer. They had a little device that they flew over certain areas, which then the question is, what if she's not in this area where they flew? What if she's outside of Tucson? What if she's not in Tucson anymore? So have we completely like kind of zeroed in this area because we believe she's there? What if she's not there anymore?
To wave will bring you back. That is intriguing information.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our News Nation.
See what I'm saying? It's like literally this guy just jumps at you in the screen. They got to do better. They have to do better when it comes to this. Hold up, y'all. Okay, so let me move over here because here you have Brian Enton and TMZ together. Now, I can stand Charles a little bit more than I can stand Harvey, but I haven't really heard a lot of Charles in his intake about this whole thing. So yeah. Do they know? That's what I don't know if they do. Even if it wasn't on, they could with the sniffer, they could figure it out. I think they could figure out if something could be picked up.
Producer Charles Latibaudiere for more now on that brand new email from a man claiming to know Guthrie's kidnapper. Charles, great to have you yet again, I guess. What time did this note come in today? And did it come in the same way the others have through this anonymous tip line?
Yes, came in the same way. By the way, I just want to say, Elizabeth, that's great reporting by Brian there. But that is remarkable information about a list of 40 people.
Yeah, I think we're going to be heading out to the gun stores shortly to ask people who those 40 people are.
I've got 100 questions. But yes, this note, the latest one we got, came in the same way that the other three came in on through our tip line email inbox, and came in last night just before midnight. And this time, there's a little more information. Now, you'll remember on Friday, when we got the last one, they said that was the last time you're going to hear from me, 3 strikes and you're out. What prompted this one, they say right off the top, they say, I saw Savannah's latest video and my heart.
Okay, put a 1 in the chat if we're going to hear back about this letter again. Put a 1 in the chat if he's going to read another letter tomorrow. Put a 2 in the chat if you feel like Harvey's done. Put a 1 in the chat if we are going to hear about another letter tomorrow. Put a 2 in the chat if you feel like Harvey's done now. He's not going to be doing this anymore.
Goes out to her. It really does. But I cannot turn myself in, leaving my family unprotected and broke, especially now that I'm being hunted. So this person is saying that basically whoever's connected to the kidnapping or the kidnapper or kidnappers are on the hunt for them because they're aware that that they may be coming forward with information, so they feel that their lives are in danger. Now, the other thing they made a second reference to is Mexico. Remember, on Friday, there's a part of the note that said, "Be prepared to go international." Well, in this one, they say, "I know what I saw 5 days ago south of the border, and I was told to shut up, so I know who he is, and that was definitely Nancy." With them. So another reference to the fact that according to them, there's more than one person involved here. But they're saying that they saw Nancy last week in Mexico with her captors.
Charles, they said last week in Mexico? Or
Here's the deal. And I hear Katie, thank you. You said, I'm glad TMZ's. Well, I feel like it's not for finding Nancy. I don't think it's all for content. It's all for content. That's all. I don't think that this isn't about finding this. It doesn't give that. I'm sorry. It just doesn't. And I mean, I think that it's great if you feel like they're sharing info, but are they entertaining a troll? Are they entertaining somebody who's just sending, letters because they want to be seen and known and be like, yeah, that's the letter that I sent him? If the FBI is like, what is the FBI doing with this? If people are so outraged about the level of coverage that this case has gotten, why can't people also see how people are feeding into it by this way? That's what I want to understand. So wouldn't that take away the attention to finding Nancy by feeding into this? This person said, I'm not going to send you any more letters. That was like the second to the last letter that he said he was never going to send. And then here we are again. So I don't know. I don't know how I feel about TMZ at this point. TMZ, in my opinion, is strategic. Again, I go back to, we wouldn't have not known about a Derek if they hadn't even put the information out about a ransom note. We learned about the ransom note through TMZ, and then we had a copycat because of TMZ releasing that information. Go back and read those documents. So I'm not at all, I don't know if what TMZ is doing the Lord's work here, in my opinion, but that's just my thought. Strategic did a short video recap on why he emailer is a scammer. The emailer is a scammer earlier today. Interesting. I'll have to watch for sure. Give me 1 second. Let me play this. Hold on.
They said 5 days ago.
So 5 days ago, he saw her in Mexico with the kidnappers, and that obviously she was alive.
Right. That's certainly the way they're making it sound. Now, that would have been Wednesday. And it's interesting, the very first note we got was on Wednesday. So they came consecutive days, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and then finally, and then this most recent one on Sunday night. I don't, you know.
You've turned this into the FBI.
Yes.
Who knows if this is a hoax or not? Somebody's expending a lot of time and energy communicating, though.
And that's a good point. We don't know if it's a hoax or not. You said it's not their fault that they're being sent these emails. LOL. It could have been you. You're right. I'm not saying that it's their fault that they were sent these emails. However, do they have to share it? If we're talking about a kidnapping, and we don't even know if these people are related to, we don't know nothing. If this is I'm thinking in my mind, if this is my family member that's being kidnapped, and all of this is happening out loud, think about it. The first station didn't put out that they had a ransom note. Why? Because in a kidnapping and a ransom situation, you don't put that information out unless instructed by the FBI. They didn't even do that. They went ahead and they did it. And I'm not saying no, you're not at fault. I get emails all the time. I'm not saying that. I'm saying they didn't have to put the information out. And if they put it out, they didn't do it to help the situation. They did it for clout. That's what it is. They have to make money. It's a business. They all do. That's how I see it. Blame the FBI. They're the ones that told TMZ it was okay. The FBI told them that it was okay for them to share it. I think that they consulted with the FBI. But if you go back to the very first video when it went out, they said they couldn't get a hold of anybody. And then after they got a hold of somebody, that's when the FBI said it was okay. But initially, they didn't talk to anybody. They were on the phone forever. I remember that video, y'all. We were literally live. And that video, he's like, well, I couldn't get a hold of somebody in the FBI. They put it out before they talked to the FBI. So what is the FBI supposed to do now that you've put it out? Yes, they did. They said, what the fuck? So it's like, I'm sorry. Maybe we watched two different shows, but I want them to share it if I want to know what's going on. I do think everyone else does too, whether you want to admit it or not. That's not the point. It's that girl. All right, Kate, that's not the point at all that I'm saying. What I'm saying to you is that if this was your loved one, if the shoe were in the other foot, I don't think that this is something that you would want, and it's a serious situation. Literally. It's not whether, of course I want to know. Hell, you want to know. You're nosy too. We're all nosy. We all want to know, right? But that's not the point. This is a life and death situation. So I could stop being nosy if I know that somebody's life depends on it. Literally. I'm saying, like, I'm not, it's how I see it. Anyways, okay. Moving on. You just have to know. I know. We got to move on. Sorry about that. Literally. My bad.
Sending you these emails, if it's a hoax. It was interesting. Harvey Levin, your co-executive producer, made a direct address earlier today to whoever this is, saying, if you're for real, send us the information and we'll send it to the FBI if you're afraid of having the FBI know your identity.
Yeah, this was, and look, as you said, we have passed all of this information on to the FBI. In a conversation this morning with someone at the FBI, Harvey said, listen, this is what I want to do. They said, that sounds fine. We're not going to, try to stop you from that. And the idea here is, because we've read now 4 of these notes and we've gone over them, and what is very clear, the theme throughout all of them is that they feel that the FBI doesn't trust them, and they certainly don't trust the FBI in that they feel that they would be arrested and that the FBI would not give them the reward.
And TMZ is going to save them from that. Are you kidding me? This is all like, we don't, again, I go back, we don't even know if these people, if the first, to me, it sounds like the first letter might have been more kind of connected. We don't know if nobody has said anything. We're literally entertaining somebody who we don't even know. And now let me tell you what happened earlier this morning. Somebody started a GoFundMe to buy a Bitcoin, so we can get information, so that money can go to this person with the ransom, the one that they keep entertaining. So now we're having people donate money to criminals. Make that make sense. Does that make, I didn't understand that piece. And we talked about it this morning. I said, wait a minute. And TMZ put that article out there. So a GoFundMe was started by a person that lives in Arizona who's watching all of this happen right in front of our eyes, y'all. All of this. And they're watching TMZ and they're wanting to start they got people donating money so that they can buy at least one Bitcoin for the person that's making these letters to TMZ. Again, we're GoFunding, for criminal activity. Are you kidding me? The FBI is not doing that. And Savannah Guthrie hasn't even given that blessing. Do you see what I'm saying? How far we've taken this shit? This is too much. This is too much. Why would people donate money for this guy who we don't even know? FBI is not even entertaining this shit right now. They can't stop TMZ for reporting it.
It's all said and done. So what we're trying to do is to bridge that and get this information. And that's why Harvey made this video appealing to them, saying, send us the information. We will give it to the FBI. And now you have a public record that it is your information that led to, if they're, if they're for real, it's your information that led to the capture of the kidnappers. And therefore we would be able to say this person deserves the reward. I don't know if they're gonna go for that. And to this point, we've heard nothing. But is it a desperate attempt? Certainly. But I think even as
it's a little too much. It's like reaching. You said, Rabbit, this is a government scam to destruction from the Epstein files. What's your name? Callie's active. Callie's active. Can I ask you a question? Can you walk and chew gum at the same time? Let me know. Can you walk and chew gum at the same time? Let me know. Don't block the person. Let me know if you can walk and chew gum at the same time. I really want to know. Because and it's important. There's somewhere where I'm going with this, I promise. Can you walk and chew gum at the same time? Because I bet you at least 600 people here. You can. Okay. So let me tell you something. Just because this is being covered doesn't necessarily mean that it's a distraction from the Epstein files. Do you know how many comments we get? Like every day we're covering this situation. You guys are being distracted from the Epstein files. I'm not forgetting about no Epstein files. Okay. Every day on my community wall, I'm posting something about the Epstein files. So for me, I can walk and chew gum at the same time. So can you, and so can everybody else. We are not distracted over here. We're not. We know, we see what's going on. We understand that there's a lot of attention being paid here. A lot of channels are talking about this, right? But we're not distracted. If you're distracted, I don't know how you can be. Literally. So, it is what it is. Okay, moving on. So yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like we're all capable of walking and chewing gum. All of us, right? Shout out to all of us. And so are you. So this works. Okay. Let's keep going. Let's see.
you heard Savannah say, we are in desperate times. And if this person is legit, why not get that information? If they're, by the way, and then Harvey said this in the video also, if you don't have the information, well, this is criminal fraud and you're in big trouble.
You're in big trouble. That's a crime, what you're doing.
Exactly.
All right. Interesting that whoever sent this claimed to have been very moved by Savannah's video that came out late yesterday.
Crazy.
Or yesterday. a lot of people were moved by it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Heartbreaking what this family is going through. Charles Laudabaudiere, thank you so much for coming on yet again. Really appreciate it.
Thank you for
Oh
watching.
my God.
Subscribe below and
They
download.
really got this guy. Cuomo they need to turn the volume down a little bit, honestly. Is Jeffrey still single? Ashleigh B. There you go. Is Jeffrey still single? Yep. That was crazy. You said sheriff can't clear nobody over the FBI. Again, we went through that. They never gave the case to the FBI. They can clear it. You know, they can. Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate you. You said they're not understanding what you're trying to explain. For the record, I believe that you are correct. Thank you. You said, I'm sick of that dude blowing up my eardrums. And I thought I was loud. You know, I can get really, really loud. You know how it is. That's why I was like, I don't get it. So this is interesting too. I just saw that BJ put out a video too. Streamers under attack for Nancy Guthrie coverage. Do you see what I'm saying? It's like, it's happening. It's all over Twitter, where people are being attacked, you know? Hold up. Why did this go? Did you just jump scare? 5 Divine, thank you so much for this 999. If truly targeting Guthrie's with ransom in mind, they would know that an 84-year-old on blood thinners with high risk of bleeding and cardiac events is not a great candidate and much less promising. I agree with you, 5 Divine. I also, that's what makes me think that this was more of like it was a burglary that became a kidnapping or an abduction at that moment. That's what makes me, and I don't believe that she's even in the Tucson area. Now, do I believe she's south of the border? No. She might be closer to that area. She could have been dropped. She could have been left out there. We don't know. What we do know, sounds like she might have been injured before she was taken out. I'm more inclined to believe that it started as a robbery, and then it immediately, they saw her there, and then they knocked her out. Something to that effect. And love, I don't know if you meant to send this twice. I think it's the same comment. Thank you, 5 Divine. Thank you twice, but like I don't know if there's a glitch or something. I appreciate you for that comment and thank you for your support. Not every time you say shut up, Cuomo, I rubbed on you. That's what it is. The FBI can still investigate separately from PIMA. That's right. Even though it was never handed over to them. That's true. And they may not have stopped investigating. Actually, I think they haven't. I don't think they have. PIMA took the steps to say publicly, the case is still ongoing, y'all. Just because somebody's been cleared doesn't necessarily mean that. Publicly cleared. We don't know if they're still investigating. Could very well be. And you're right. Like there could be two separate things happening at the same time, you know? Thank you. That's right. Not fair to wrap everyone. I agree. I'm not out there streaming like, you know, and again, at the same time, I mean, I think that people are, you know, I have seen, okay, let me say it to you guys this way. At times I've been against people doing the most out there when they're streaming, right? Because I have seen it where people just do the most and they just no regard for anything whatsoever. Especially when we've seen this in missing child cases. It does happen a lot and they kind of ruin it for a lot of people. And so a lot of us get a bad rap. However, I've also seen situations where things have actually played out. I mean, look at Gabby Petito, where streamers have actually been able to do good by a case. There have been situations where streamers can do well. I also feel like YouTube, everybody, we don't have a handbook, right? So what might seem ethical to one person might not be ethical to another as far as how they handle things. So you're going to have two YouTubers doing the most, you know, because there is no rule book. You know, I've seen people go to jail over protesting for a missing child. And you're trying to figure out, well, aren't you taking resources from this missing child by going to jail? Because honestly, that's what it is. You're taking resources from all of that. But, you know, it can go either way, honestly. You said, not fair to wrap everybody up. Yep, I think I read this one. Manny, thank you so much for the 989. Shout out to everybody. Thank you for supporting the channel. Thank you. I appreciate you, Manny. Manny to Kim, thank you. You said they had equipment for a robbery, I think, not to take her, like a bag to put things, etc. Podcast, that's very likely. I think it was meant to be one way and then it went the other. To me, that makes sense, even though Pima's not saying that that's the case. Speculation. I could be completely wrong, and I might be actually, and I'm okay with that. I said this week ago, and a lot of people here said I was wrong. You said what a week ago? Tell me. You said FBI was all over that Range Rover. Hey, and what happened to the outcome of that car? It's become a big issue. Yeah, for sure. Thank you for covering this. And I'm not Danielle. Please know I'm not trying to bash anybody. We gon' not gonna. We'll disagree. We'll agree to disagree, whatever it may be. But sometimes people do the most, so sometimes they do have to get time out and eat a Snickers. Sometimes I have to eat a Snickers. Shout out to my moms, because they put up with that shit sometimes. Sorry, I love you guys. How we know nothing was stolen? We don't know. Just because the cops didn't say anything doesn't mean it didn't happen. That's a very good point. We don't know what wasn't stolen, actually. Thank you, Danielle. I appreciate you. Hold up. Has the FBI said the family is cleared? No. Pima has. The FBI has not officially made a statement about clearing anybody. It would be nice, but they could have their own independent investigation, right? There's that. You said, I think they took Nancy because, oh, okay, Joe. Well, I hope she's okay. A burglary gone wrong doesn't make sense in my opinion. And Abraham says, I don't know if Abraham's in the chat, but he said the same thing too. He's like, it doesn't make sense. Who goes with a backpack full of stuff, leaves with the whole person and doesn't steal a thing? Plus 41 minutes took forever looking for nothing. That's a good point. Maybe they're working, maybe the FBI and Pima have two different working theories. You have two different agencies. So maybe they have two different working theories. Who knows? Do you think it was someone who went there specifically to snatch Nancy and the ATM? You know what? They haven't said anything about her financials. Manny, like that's one thing they have not said, even in the press conference. Did they notice any activity in her bank or anything like that? That's a great question. And I didn't even think of that. Because typically that's where we go. Like if they use their ATM or whatever, You said Rabbit and I on the same wavelength again. Are we? Wait, strategic eye? Shout out to him. Yo, I mean, sometimes people see each other. A person who's been stealing all night would have had a backpack full. Y'all don't really think that he went to go dump in the next house? Well, do we know that he was stealing all night? What if that was the first house? And then that was the last house? The only thing that we know is that we don't know where Nancy is. So you know what? That is the truth. We don't know where Nancy's at. That is one thing that is correct. The FBI doesn't tend to offer any statements. That's right. But they went from 50K to 100,000. That's a huge jump. What do you think about the chances that she's in Mexico? Very low. I don't think she's in Mexico. Nope. I think she's closer to the south. She could be. I feel like I said, I feel like she was dumped. They took her and then she was, they hurt her and then she was dumped. She was put somewhere. None of that. And that somebody did say about the sniffer that it has to like fly at a certain area, so it's kind of hard to completely use that. Okay, well, isn't there a way to put the sniffer, I don't know, in like a drone that could maybe it wouldn't be a big deal that it's flying a certain area? I don't know. I'm not an expert in that, but I don't think she's in Mexico. I don't think. I think it'd be a very difficult, if they're crossing the border. And I'm pretty sure that they probably have an alert out there. Because if you guys remember on the first press conference, they had been in communication with their partners from the border patrol and everything. Yeah, he could have kept a change of clothing. That's right. So, yep. He said, what if they tried to get her to give up money and she refused, so they kidnapped her? Good point. Good point. That's a very plausible idea for sure. TMZ said that the letter stated that she's in Mexico. Yeah, I don't know if I believe that. Like I said, I think TMZ is entertaining somebody that's trolling them. I don't think that The letters are interesting. I just, if the FBI is not taking a hold of these letters, I don't think that they're taking these letters very serious at this point. We haven't even determined, they haven't even told us if the first ransom has anything. The only thing we know is that Savannah and family decided to respond to a ransom by making multiple videos. And the FBI told us in the second press conference that they don't dictate to the family how to respond. That is up to the family's discretion if they want to respond to a ransom. They have done what they've done. Maybe they felt like we're going to go ahead and do this because they felt that that was the direction. But we don't know. We don't know of anything. And at this point, why not release all these letters? Here's a question that I have for y'all. I've said, if the FBI is taking these letters serious, why not collect them? Why not take over that? They haven't. You got these people that are releasing them, right? They're already talking about them publicly. We have not seen them. We don't know who's writing them. We don't know anything. So until they can clear that up, we really don't know anything about these ransom notes. Hold up, guys. You said, Rabbit, if you look at the sheriff's interview, he refuses to confirm that the family was cleared through the DNA. Yeah, I know. The interview from sorry, Baby Bunny's being loud, guys. The interview from a couple days ago. He refuses to say anything, but that was 24 hours ago. He did the same, and now he's cleared them. So I think that we have to kind of take, again, the PEMA can clear them. FBI could feel something different, so we don't know. But hold up, guys. You can't even hear her. I can hear her. She's, when I can hear her, she kind of disrupts me a little bit. So we don't know. You said Taco Man kidnapping Nancy. Oh, Lord. Okay. You said, I think that she fell while walking to the bathroom. As I ran into them and tried to get away. She had an unsteady gait. Yeah. Anything is possible. Maybe she started bleeding. Yeah, the family, my understanding is that they submitted their DNA. They've been very cooperative. That's what they've said. So I'm inclined to believe that anything is possible. All right, guys. Well, I do have to let you guys go because I got to go tend to Baby Bunny. She's doing the most. But tomorrow, let's wear our flannels. Okay? Put one in the chat if you'll join me tomorrow too, and y'all gonna wear your flannels. Let me know. Let me know. Well, I appreciate you. Is it Lee? Maybe. Thank you. I appreciate you. Yeah. Callie, what's up with you, man? Why's it got to be a taco man? See, like, you are entitled to your opinion, but why you got to do all that? That's just crazy work. I don't know why you do that. Anyways, you said you're going to wear crisscross t-shirt. No, flannel. All right, guys. Well, I will see you guys mañana. You guys have a great night. And I will talk to you guys tomorrow. Okay. And thank you for supporting the channel today. Y'all didn't have to. Hitting the like button is free. And I love y'all. Have a good night, guys.